Our Frontier opening bell for today, Monday, the 17th of June, go this way with all green shoots across the markets in Africa. We covered on a daily basis. 5 of them finished off in the green. On Friday, the Egyptian stock market, Thursday, when the market closed in Cairo, was 1.09%. And you can see the green shoot across the various markets in East, West, North, as well as in Southern Africa. Those are your numbers. You can just see those numbers. Let's just move on very quickly and see what's making the headlines as we start the new week, Monday. Here, taking us effectively to the third week in June. The United Kingdom is making about 32 or 82 million shillings in donation to Kenya for green infrastructure. Well, we have a big news also between Rwanda and Qatar. The Qatar Airways says it's near finalizing the deal to purchase a major stake in Rwanda airline, and that's in the news. That deal is expected to be concluded within a month. We'd like to see that perhaps before the end of July. The AFDB, the African Union Commission, and the UN Migration Agency said they've signed a deal about $5.2 million in grant funding for infrastructure in across Africa. That was one of the latest deals just put together, a midwife by the African Development Bank Group. And Ethiopia says it's launched an electric vehicles factory in Amhara region. That is expected to produce at least 1,000 electric vehicles in the biggest economy in the Horn of Africa. In the meantime, the Council of Ministers in Ethiopia over the weekend signed off on the latest NBE, the National Bank of Ethiopia's bank reform. The new program or the new framework will allow for foreign banks and other financial institutions to step onto the shores, put their boots on the ground in Ethiopia and be part of the wider reforms that Prime Minister Abiy's administration is carrying out in Ethiopia. That's a good news. Now, that framework from the MBE will go before the House of Representatives for approval and, of course, the signature of the country's head of government. In the meantime, Indian billionaire businessman Adani was in Tanzania to hold talks with the Prime Minister Hassan Suluhu Hassan, Madam President, and of course, it's all on the back of Adani's multi-million-dollar port reform project, a concession that is secured in Tanzania. By the way, billionaire businessman Adani met with the president in Dodoma at the State House. Let's move on and check through the West African headlines this morning. Nigeria's inflation came in reported over the weekend about 33.95%, taking the figure higher from the month of April. Nigeria's food inflation still very sticky, around 40%. In the meantime, the World Bank has approved $2.25 billion for Nigeria to support its recent economic reforms. We'll see how this will pace out. First Bank of Nigeria, Nigeria's oldest commercial bank, secured $200 million deal with Affecting Bank at the just concluded annual meetings of the Trade Finance DFI based in Cairo, Egypt. The deal will allow First Bank of Nigeria to further invest in small and medium enterprises sectors in Nigeria, including telecommunications as well as oil and gas. And in the news over the weekend was Niger Republic closing the pipeline or shutting off the pipeline that takes crude oil all through to the seaport in Benin Republic, a part of the latest face-off between the two West African countries. Finally, in West Africa, 3 vice presidents of the EFDB group, headquartered in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire, will be stepping into Japan today for a 4-day meeting with Japan to further strengthen the existing relationship between the EFDB and Africa, technically speaking, and Japan. And we expect further cooperation and deals to be signed between Japan and the EFDB group. Let's touch on with Southern Africa. The political talks still going on. President Cyril Ramaphosa is looking to hold his seat, moving forward on a new coalition that will see President Ramaphosa continue in office for the next couple of years. All that in play. The markets, including the rand, moved very positively on Friday. However, the COSATU, which is the trade union organization, says that they said no to Mercedes-Benz of South Africa's planned job cuts. That's still being debated. And Celsi is making an announcement that is franchising 44 of its own stores and will hold the remaining 3 stores in South Africa. A team from the African Energy Chamber met with Senangal officials led by the CEO, Gaspar Martins. Over the last few days, the AEC team from Johannesburg was led by NJ Ayu. It's to further cement relationship between Angola, one of Africa's biggest oil producer, as well as the African Energy Chamber, which is Africa's leading oil and gas energy industry advocacy group. And Lusaka Stock Exchange has listed its first real estate investment trust, which is called REITs. There was a whole lot of ceremony on Friday as this was floated, the first ever on the Lusaka Securities Exchange. Congratulations to you folks over there. And Zimbabwe has scrapped VAT, that's value-added tax on gold deliveries. The whole idea is to encourage more of the miners to deliver gold to the Reserve Bank to help support the flagging new currency, the ZiG, which was launched just about 2 months ago. And finally, the CBZ Bank has floated a lucrative mortgage financial product to attract inflows of US dollars from Zimbabweans in the diaspora. Those are the headlines in Southern Africa. Let's get on with the rest of Monday in North Africa, where Egypt's President El-Sisi met over the last few days in an official visit to Saudi Arabia, meeting with the Crown Prince of the kingdom. And Egyptian Prime Minister has reviewed advances in localizing e-chip and semiconductor industry. Egypt is looking to become a hub in Africa when it comes to e-chip and semiconductor production, and is revving that up very quickly. It's taking that very seriously at the very top of the leadership of the country. In Morocco, the country is reporting about $7.2 million embezzled public funds, which were recovered for 2022. The latest news came from the Ministry of Justice as far as those recoveries of embezzled public funds are concerned, using the administration of justice in Morocco. And finally, the North African economy says about 84 million euros has been secured to boost forestry, water, and rural development in the country. Those are your headlines here on Frontier Opening Bell. I am Bosin Namafai. Do have a great week ahead, and I'll see you soon tomorrow.